So we're 8 months out until I turned 50. So I thought it would be fun once a month to do a special little series, Becoming You.
Welcome to Root Cause Holistic Health. I'm Dr. John Harmon, physician, brain health expert, and your host on this no-fluff journey into whole body healing.
And I'm Tracey Green, wellness coach, mom, and co-host in this space where we get real about what actually heals, not just what's trending.
We're here to help you uncover what's really going on and empower you to take the next step in your healing journey.
Chapter 1. Stop waiting for your life to begin. I have a plane ticket sitting on my kitchen counter. Every time I walk past it, I stop. In a few days, I'll hand the ticket to my daughter. We'll go to the airport. We'll board the plane. Soon, we'll unload suitcases. We'll spend way too much money at Target buying everything we forgot. We'll make a tiny dorm room feel like home. We'll laugh. We'll cry. We'll hug. A lot. And then she'll walk inside. She'll turn around one last time, wave, and say bye, Mom, and disappear into the next chapter of her life. I'll go to my car, drive to the airport, find my seat, fasten my seatbelt, look out the window, and for the first time in 18 years, fly back to Florida and leave my daughter at school. I've thought about this flight home a lot. Not because I'm worried about Bella. I'm really not. She's ready for this. She has earned this. As her mom, there's nothing more beautiful than watching your child become exactly who you prayed she would become. The part that I wasn't prepared for was realizing she isn't the only one beginning a new chapter. Maybe I am too. Bella's a blessing. I was told I could never have kids. I had stage 4 endometriosis. It took us a lot to get her. She's a miracle baby. And after I had her, my doc said I couldn't have any more kids. I truly believe Bella's here for a purpose. I realized she wasn't a little girl anymore a couple years ago at a swim meet, watching her dive off the block and swim back and forth, working as a team. She looks so big, so grown up. If Bella heard this in 20 years, what story would I want her to remember? I think about that a lot. What do I want her to remember? I want her to remember that I was there. I was present. Life doesn't usually change on the days we expect it to. It changes quietly. One ordinary Tuesday at a time. One birthday. One family dinner. One dream we quietly set aside until one day we look in the mirror and we realized years have passed. Not because we weren't alive, because we were busy getting ready to live. All start when. We've all said it. All start when life slows down. All start when the kids get older. All start when I lose the weight. All start when. The problem is, when has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. Time doesn't ask permission. It just keeps moving. You know, I watched my grandmother lose her battle with cancer. I held my dog Rocky as cancer took him too. I watched my daughter become a woman. Every one of these moments whispered the same thing. Time is precious. You know, right after high school, I was lucky enough to be there right at the end to take care of my grandma. We moved her hospital bed into her living room. My cousin and I were the only ones that were able to be there day in and day out, taking care of her in her final weeks and days. It was hard watching her, but I'm really glad that I was there to spend those days and moments and those last I love yous, go get the world, those last precious conversations I was able to have with my grandma. My grandma was big on everything happens for a reason. Birthdays were huge for my grandma. Homemade cakes. That's where I get my homemade cakes from. I think my grandma liked to celebrate birthdays because it's another year, you know, you get to start over again, get a brand new year. I treat it as my new year. I talked about my dog, Rocky. Every dog owner understands this kind of love. Rocky was an amazing dog. He was 9. I remember the day that he passed away. It was Mother's Day of all days. We'd been at the vet the last few days, and the vet told me that, his cancer's too bad. We just needed to take him home and get him comfortable. Brought him home. He wanted to go for a walk. So we took a nice, long, slow walk around the walk. I had no idea it was his last day. I think he did, though. We walked around the block, and I just let him sniff and, walk around wherever he wanted to walk as long as he wanted to walk. Walked around the block. We got back to our front yard. He walked up the sidewalk and then went to the front yard, the grass, and he just laid down. So I laid down next to him. So we just sat there and I petted him for a really long time, like an hour. Finally, my husband realized we were out front and he brought a blanket out. And then we just laid out there. We were out there for a while until it started to rain. And then I remember we're like, all right, Rocky, let's go in. So we walked into the front door and he just laid down right there in the foyer. Couldn't move anymore. I kept thinking, I need to go get in the shower. I need to go get in the shower. And I thought, no, I'm just going to sit here with him. So I did. Sat there till early evening. Actually, it was late evening, I think 9, 10 o'clock, when he took his last breath in my lap. That day taught me to slow down. After he was gone, if you've had dogs, the hardest part is coming home and not having that dog to greet you at the door. Time has the power to change your life without even asking. Maybe my best memories aren't behind me. Maybe they're still waiting. Maybe hope isn't something we find. Maybe hope is something we choose. A quiet decision that says, my story isn't over. As long as you're breathing, there's still hope. There's still another page to write. And where there's another page, there's hope. A few years ago, I signed up for my first half marathon. People saw me cross the finish line. They smile, they congratulate me. But what they didn't see, what they didn't hear, were the quiet conversations I have with myself. I don't want to get up at 5 in the morning. I don't want to train today. I don't want to go to the gym. And then there was Roby Creek. If you've ever run it, you know. Around mile 8, actually it's mile 7, the mountain starts talking. You question whether or not you're going to be able to finish. The first time I ran the race to Roby Creek, the toughest half marathon in the Northwest, I had lunch with a friend of mine that has run it for a long time the day before. And I said, what advice do you have for me for my first half marathon? And he said something to me that stuck with me. And I'm so glad that he told me. He said, Trace, at mile 7, you are going to be done. Your shins are going to hurt. Your legs are going to hurt. Your knees are going to hurt. You're going to want to quit. You are going to dig deep and say, I can do this. Because at mile 8.5, the uphill is over and it's all downhill from there. And you know what happened? Like clockwork. At mile 7, I started looking over at the ATVs, the EMTs, the emergency people that were there in case you needed help or anything. I started looking over thinking, I can't do this. My legs hurt, my shins hurt, exactly like he said. And then I looked over and I saw mile 7 marker and I thought, okay, I can dig deep. I can do this. I did. So that last 1.5 miles up to the top of Roby Creek, that top point, I did it. And I remember getting to that 8.5 mark and thinking, all right, I got this. I can do the last 5. It's all downhill from here. And then I did it and I crossed the finish line. And I was so grateful that I set a goal, I stuck with it. I ran the race to Roby Creek. I almost quit. There's so many little voices in my head that wanted me to. You made it this far. It's okay. It wasn't about running. It was about becoming me. Who am I? Today, I'm 49. My daughter's getting ready to leave for college. Yes, I am training for the race to Ruby Creek again. It's in April, which just happens to be right after my 50th birthday. As I get closer to 50, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like life is like ending. With Bella leaving, I feel like it's ending, like ending a chapter, but it's a beginning. I feel hope. Life didn't suddenly become easy. I think I realized my best chapters might be in front of me. I don't want to rush the next few days, getting Bella to school, getting her settled, flying home, telling the dogs will be here. We'll have to come up with our new routine, our new normal. Today, I'm making a promise. Not to you, but to myself. I'm done waiting for permission. I'm done believing my best years are behind me. I'm done saying one day I'll do this, I'll do this. Because one day isn't on the calendar. Today is. And today I'm choosing hope. I'm choosing growth. I'm choosing to become. If you're listening today, I'm not asking you to change your whole life. I'm asking you to take one honest step. Have that conversation. Take the walk. Start the business. Write the first page. Take that last drink, whatever it is. Forgive somebody. Pray. Ask for help. Whatever that first step is, take it. Because one step becomes another. Another mile. A mile becomes a finish line. And one ordinary decision can completely change your story that you're living. In a few days, I'll take that plane ticket. Bella and I will get on the plane. I'll watch her begin a life she's worked so hard to build, a life she deserves. I'll get back on the plane, I'll fly home, and for a long time, I thought that flight meant I was leaving something behind. Now I see it differently. I'm not flying home to an empty house. Of course, Tony and the dogs are here. I'm flying home to an unwritten chapter. And there's something incredibly hopeful about a blank page, because a blank page doesn't remind you of what you've lost. It reminds you of what is still possible. Welcome to becoming you. This is chapter 1. Our stories may all be different, but today we all receive the same gift. Another page, another chance, another beginning, starting now. Stay grateful, stay grounded. And I'm so glad you're with me on this journey. I can't wait what is next for all of us.
Thanks for tuning in to Root Cause Holistic Health. We're here to help you uncover what's really going on and empower you to take the next step in your healing journey.
Whether you're a mom, a dad, or just someone ready to stop settling for Band-Aid fixes, we hope today's episode gave you something to think about.
If you found this episode valuable, do us a favor, share it with someone you love, and leave a review so we can reach more families like yours.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode. We've got more honest conversations, practical tips, and root cause wisdom coming your way.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and most of all, stay connected to what truly matters.
We'll see you next time on Root Cause Holistic Health.